Empathy without boundaries is low self-esteem. Empathy is a great quality to have. You see things from other people's point of view. You're understanding, you're considerate, and you're generous. But for some of us, there's a very blurred line between empathy and self-sacrifice. During my teenage years, I took empathy too far. I took, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, too far. I took, I'm sure she didn't mean to say it like that, too far. I took, let me just keep the peace and keep my mouth shut, too far. It felt like if people pulled on my heartstrings enough, I would do anything that they wanted. Because I felt so bad, I simply couldn't walk away. I didn't know what boundaries were. I'd cover up for people, I'd act out of character for people, I'd do things that I would never normally do for other people. I thought being kind and available and being nice made you a good person. But I realized that's only the case when you have boundaries. Over the years, I've learned the hard way, the basics of boundaries and self-respect. And if you've clicked on this video, hopefully that means I'll save you a lot of time too. So don't worry, because I'm gonna share everything that I know in this video. Hey, if you're new, I'm Christina and I make videos for people who are feeling lonely. If you're a people pleaser, overachiever, overthinker, over anythinger, you're in the right place. I think empathy without boundaries is low self-esteem. You might be like, oh, but Christina, what do you mean? Empathy is such a nice trait. Empathy is such a good thing to have. Don't encourage people not to have empathy. Empathy is great. Being there for your friends is great. Being kind and offering a helping hand is great. Seeing things from other people's point of view is great. Do you know what's not great? Being stood up by your friend for the third time and sticking around even though they made some silly excuse for why they couldn't come. Or empathy is great, but being the one to always reach out for your friend and you're the one always putting effort in to meet up with them, whilst they never make the same effort for you, is not great. Low self-esteem comes in when you're the sort of person that feels like you have to work for your approval. I've had too many friendships where I didn't realize at the time, but the driving force keeping the friendship alive was my time and effort. If I took my foot off the gas pedal of that friendship, I stopped putting in effort, I just did what was normal, I stopped being the first one to message, I stopped initiating things, I stopped planning things, I stopped scheduling things, I stopped suggesting things in the group chat. If I stopped, the friendship would die. It's funny because at the time, like back when this was like all of my friendships, I didn't realize this was the dynamic. I literally couldn't fathom any other option. I couldn't fathom and wrap my head around the fact that like I could make friends with people where I don't have to do every single thing in the friendship. They'll actually do some things, like mind blown. I don't feel like I have to work round the clock and be available to this person literally all hours of the day. If they call me at midnight and ask me for something, I don't have to get up out of bed and help them. Like, whoa, like that is actually insane. For a lot of us, if you've ever watched a video or listened to a podcast or even read a book about how to like have boundaries, how to have self-respect, the reason why it's so tough and the biggest barrier to it is probably low self-esteem. You can watch all the videos you want on how to like have respect for yourself, how to like level up your standards, how to have heels as high as your standards, or whatever quote is trendy right now. If you've grown up in a household where you have to work for your parents to love you and give you any attention, if you have to get the best grades in your class for your parents to give you a pat on the back and hug you, if you only ever get praise from your parents where you're the one that's like cleaning the house, picking up your siblings from school, doing the chores, doing the cleaning, if you're used to working for love and attention from your parents, chances are you're gonna learn that you have to work for the time and energy from friendships and relationships as well. For a lot of us, depending on the household you've grown up in, having boundaries is not an option. There are some of our parents, from a loving place, they don't realize what they're doing, but they create an environment where you grow up and you think the world has complete and 100% access to me. People need you to be available. People need you to show up. People need you to stop what you're doing, stop having fun, come help us over here. You had to learn to mature and grow up way sooner than you probably should have. And now you're 25 with no real genuine friendships where the people care about you because you're so used to giving and giving and giving and showing up and helping them. How do I actually put a stop to this? How do I start having real friends that care about me? Is it too much to ask for someone to check in on me? I'm always one checking in on other people. The reason why it feels so tough to put your foot down and start saying no is maybe because of low self-esteem. You've learned that love and affection and kindness and generosity is conditional. I'll give you a hug and a kiss on the forehead when you pick your brothers up from school and clean the house and just do the laundry. Like you've learned slowly but surely, like, this is all a transaction. I'll only love you when you finish your transaction. Like, do your part, then I'll do my part. Something that's really important to think about is, are you trying to save them? Like, if you have a person in mind that resonates with what I've said in this video, where it's a friend or maybe it's a relationship, it's a girlfriend, it's a boyfriend, it's a partner, and you feel like you're just always the one giving. This person never reciprocates. Maybe they do sometimes, but you feel exhausted. Like, you enjoy your times with this person, you guys have good times, you laugh about things. I'm thinking about a person, like maybe you have a person in mind too. When I think about this person, the dynamic I had, part of me, I think, was trying to save them. I remember we bonded over being really similar, being like very academic and hardworking people. And like we had such high expectations of what we wanted to achieve. This person though had like quite a rough past. Like they'd been through so much. This person was like very open about it, borderline like trauma dumping. Like there's some things they told me, I was like, I didn't ask to know that. And that's very deep stuff you just told me. Part of me then, knowing how tough their upbringing was, knowing how tough their life was right there and then, I felt like anytime I wanted to say no to things, like they'd ask me for things, or they'd ask me at like 11 p.m. at night to do things, to come out and meet them, like I felt like I couldn't say no. And then part of me thinks there were times when they would say like, oh my gosh, we're so similar. Like finally I've met someone that's just like me. And I felt the same because we were so both like super driven. I also felt that as well. Like, but what wasn't nice was me slowly starting to lose myself as the months went by, because I felt like I was doing so much, acting out of character, and I didn't know how to say no because I felt so guilty, and I felt like empathy was keeping me there, but like I needed boundaries to help me step back. It was almost like I was sticking around in the hopes that I could save this person. Like if I helped them enough and spend enough time with them, and if I listened to them talk about their family enough and all the things going on, like, oh, I'm helping them and I'm saving them in a way. I definitely think this might be the case if you're thinking of like a relationship dynamic, like your partner has been through so much in their past. They have some bad habits which kind of like frustrate you. You're sticking around because you do genuinely love them. Like they have positive aspects and positive attributes. You have great times together, but you do feel like you're giving and it's not being reciprocated. But part of you feels like you can help them or you can save them. When I was reflecting on this and like planning this video, something that I thought of was like, I think we place too much importance on the role that we have in their lives. Like I totally get if you're someone's partner, if you're literally someone's boyfriend, you obviously have a big role in their life. You talk to them most days, every week, hopefully. If you're someone's best friend, you obviously, again, speak to them most days, most weeks. You are a big role in their life, but sometimes I think if you're giving so much and you're thinking like, I can help them, I'm going to save them, like, oh, things won't be this bad forever, like, don't worry, like, hang on, like, I'll help you, I'll do this, I'll do that. You've placed too much importance on you and too little importance on the help that they need. Like, when I think back to this person, oh my gosh, you know, the help I did, sure, that was probably like a dent, but they actually needed something way bigger and more institutional than me. They needed genuine therapy or genuine help. The things that they told me about their family and stuff, I can't help you with that. I can't help you with the family dynamic. Like I was putting way too much importance on I can help, I can do this. Christina, like you can't fix someone's family. You can't fix someone's parents. Like you can't. Ultimately, I can't help you if I don't help myself. And sometimes helping myself means saying no to you, having boundaries, cutting you off, breaking up with you, not being friends with you. Sometimes that's what helping me looks like. You might be wondering, what do boundaries actually look like? Because I know boundaries is a word that's thrown around a lot. You know, it's similar to like standards, I guess. It's kind of like a hot topic at the moment, having boundaries. To me, boundaries looks like saying no, or saying, I have plans, or saying, oh, I'm busy, I can't do that this week, but I'll do it next week. Boundaries look like saying, sorry, I can't jump on a Zoom call in the next hour. I have a schedule. I have things to do. Literally, someone emailed me that the other day. Like, oh, do you mind jumping on a Zoom call at 3 p.m. today? I literally am at work. Boundaries look like saying, I don't feel great. I don't really want to do this right now. Putting your foot down and finally saying no to people is easiest with the people that you know the least. Like if there's a colleague at work you've spoken to once that's asking you to finish off some sort of spreadsheet, say, oh, do you know what? I'll get to that tomorrow. I'm a little bit busy today. I can't do it today, but like tomorrow, yeah, I'll do that. Rather than doing it like right here, right now. Do you know what I mean? Or say you have a third cousin that you've literally never met that's asking you like, hey, can you read my personal statement? I'm applying to university. Like, you know, I'm applying for, you know, your job, and can you read my personal statement and give me feedback? You've never met them. I'll do that next week. I'm quite busy right now. Like, thank you. I'll check it out when I have some time. When you do it for extended family, or when you do it for people that you don't know very well, you build up that muscle, and it becomes a lot easier to do it with friends, partners, and then family. And then you find yourself just being able to say no, and it's actually really comfortable. I find if you're new to boundaries and you're not used to like saying no or asserting yourself, it might feel a little bit easier to start off with like postponing things. At work right now, like my current job, this is a very common thing. Like as a doctor, the nurses will sometimes come to you and be like, oh, hey, can you go like check that patient? His blood pressure is really low. Or hey, can you like prescribe this medication? Like my patient needs it. And sometimes I'm in the middle of things. Sometimes I'm literally on the phone. I'm talking to radiology, or I'm trying to like do a discharge letter. Like sometimes they interrupt you. One of my colleagues does this so well. He's always like, oh, can you give me 1 minute, please? I'm like in the middle of something. And I actually need to like take note from him. Like, he always says like, can you give me 5 minutes? And I feel like that's a good example of like postponing things. Something that I can do quite well, but I have a lot of boundaries with my YouTube, or I have a lot of boundaries with like collabs and sponsorships. I get weird scammy emails from random companies trying to get me to like review certain products. I don't even postpone it. I'm not going to say I'll do your collab in a week or in a month. I literally just say I'm not interested in doing it. Thank you so much, but I'm not interested. All the best. And if it feels scary to put yourself first, honestly, that's normal, and that's part of the process. Feeling scared actually is a good sign, because I feel like that's the start of you starting to put yourself first. Like you actually start to live life on a different trajectory, and you're just at the start. That's why you're scared, because you're about to take it like a different turning. Something very exciting that I'm starting to do is I've started to have one-to-one chats with you guys. If you go in the link in my bio or description, I've got a link which will allow you to kind of book a Calendly call with me. Essentially, guys, I want to build a community where we can all talk like together. And to build this thing, I want to know about you guys. Like I need to know more about where you're all from, like how old you all are, like what would you want in a community where you can talk to like-minded people? Because I've thought about just starting a Discord, but then I'm like, everyone starts a Discord. Like I want this to be a bit more. So yeah, if you want to talk to me, or if you just want to join the wait list, the link is the exact same. If you just click on that link, and you'll be added to the wait list, and you can also book a call with me. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. Again, I know self-respect is a hot topic, like a popular word at the moment. To me, what self-respect means is you value yourself. It's kind of like we respect a lot of people. For some people, you might respect your parents, or you respect some politicians because you value those politicians, or you respect certain public figures, maybe an actress, influencer, person on the internet. You respect them because you value them. So to me, self-respect means you value yourself. Boundaries help to implement self-respect because you understand the value you have in your life. You understand the value of your time, your effort, your energy directed to something. You understand how valuable that is. So you're completely comfortable putting in boundaries and saying no. Valuing yourself means detaching your worth from who you are and how much you do. Just because you had a really productive day and you did so much and you helped out a bunch of people doesn't add to your worth. I really want to emphasize that. Does not add to your worth. You could have a lazy day, recharging, being in bed, doing absolutely nothing, sitting on Netflix and watching the whole season of Selling Sunset. You have the same value just as you would if you spent a day exhausting yourself, helping everyone else out. Your value isn't what you do, it's who you are. This should be an affirmation if you struggle with this a lot, because it's the thing that's going to help you have boundaries. I don't believe I'm a better person when I'm helping everyone else. I just don't. I don't believe I'm a better person. I don't believe I'm a kinder person. I don't believe I'm a more valuable person when I'm helping everyone else. When I'm at work, in the hospital, on the wards, when I'm helping patients, when I'm treating them. I don't believe I'm a better person than I am now. I don't believe I'm a better person than when I'm just in bed doing nothing. My value, I know, is consistent always. I know it never fluctuates. I know you can never add to my value. I know you can never take away from my value. I know it's always there. Versus in the past, I thought my value was a lot more labile, and it fluctuates a lot more. It's up and it's down depending on how much I help someone, depending on if I'm there for someone. Whereas now I just know that's not the truth. Because I know you can never take away from my value, you can never add to it, I know that I can say no. Like, I can't help you out right now, I'm busy this week. I can't jump on a Zoom call at 3 p.m. today, like, no, I've got a schedule. I'm comfortable saying no because I know my value is consistent. So I guess I'll leave you guys on that note. I hope this video was helpful. I know setting boundaries is scary, but trust me, if I can do it, so can you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.